Gang, if you can hear me, whisper. Perfect. More people coming in. George, why don't you close those back doors and let everybody come in as they please. Next session, gang, this is really special. I'm not sure if you heard of this. It's a little website. You actually write it down. Does everybody have a pen? All right, we got pens out. I'll spell it just in case you're not familiar with it. It's FACEBOOK. Facebook. Have you guys heard of that? Anybody? You're actually about to be introduced to who I believe is the #1 Facebook marketer on the planet. Do you think that'll be useful to you? Yes or yes? That's not enough energy. Come on. You think that'll be useful to you? That's what I wanted to hear. Well, I'm going to introduce to you my friend Kris Dehnert. Kris and I met probably about a year or so ago, and we instantly connected because he was no BS, straight to the point, and ripped apart any of the misconceptions that I had about Facebook. I don't even think about being a Facebook marketer anymore. Anytime I need something, I just call Kris. So this is a session where Kris and his team are going to show you, and Kris will tell you about some of his accomplishments. I don't know, something like 5 million fans under management. It's going to be about 50 within the next 24 months. And he's got companies all around the country and people that just love him and will follow him around all around the world just because to get a little bit of information from him. You have the next hour to pick him and his team's brain, and they're going to share with you the concepts that they're doing real world, working on things like Duck Dynasty for them and Tim Tebow and NFL players and NBA players and things that you typically would not have access to. So for the next hour, they're going to do an interactive session answering questions that you have. So think about questions related to social media and how you can apply it to your business, because now is the time, because you won't get access like this any other time. So without further ado, let's give a warm welcome to my buddy Kris Dehnert and his team.
Is this on? Check, check. All right. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you guys having taking the time out today to come meet myself and my team. We own a company, Breaking Point Media. We have a number of others. A lot of them have grown to national brands, I think 7 to this point, all through social media marketing. And though we've done some of the larger brands and some of these bigger campaigns that Mike mentioned, where we found our real power is in local social marketing, very similar to what you guys are doing in here today. The problem we found in most cases with local social marketing is you try to wear too many hats. Anybody here wear too many hats in their business, right? 3, 4 people, okay. Well, in my experience, more than about 70% are trying to answer the phones, they're trying to do Facebook, they're trying to do Twitter, they're trying to drive traffic, and they're trying to close deals. It's a mess, right? So hopefully what we do today is answer a lot of questions. So please, I encourage you to ask questions, because that's what this is here for. We don't have a presentation. We're not going to bore you to death. If you're not paying attention, I might land on your table and take a selfie with you. It might happen. But I do want you to ask questions. I want to introduce you to my team. These are the team leaders that I have. They run the company with me. They're co-owners of the company with me. And I'm going to let them talk a little bit about some of what they do so you know who to direct these questions to. Ladies first, of course, this is Amy Tranter. She's had for now 5+ years local social media marketing for doctors, lawyers, plastic surgeons, and the list goes on. Retention of 100% or something. So needless to say, these people are very happy with the services that she provides, because a lot of times you run into issues. People don't believe that social media is a converting source of income or a converting source of leads. We're going to prove that wrong today. Anthony Cannon. Anthony, man, this guy's done a lot. He's been the top associate in the country for companies like Verizon, Yellow Pages, on driving local business marketing, and more importantly, for what you guys are here today, educational marketing. How important would it be in a business like yours, where everybody is very timid to even reach out, one, from embarrassment, and other things when they're having credit issues? How nice would it be for them to be educated on what they need to do, where they need to do it, and who they need to reach out to? Because as we know, people do business with those they know, like, and trust. You can do that through educational marketing, hence the reason Anthony is here today. Pino, down at the end, he is a rock star when it comes to LinkedIn. Does anybody here use LinkedIn as a social media? Okay, that's awesome, because if you got questions on how to really rock it, that's your guy. Okay, he's done a lot of SEO, a lot of, I'll probably let you jump in because it's more technical than I am. What I do is I'm into viral nature, I'm into social media, gamification, interaction, closing big deals, and how to automate things. There's a couple mottos that we live by in our companies, and one of them is outsource, delegate, automate, replicate. If that sounds like something that you need to do in your business, ask me some questions, because that's what we do. I've launched 5 companies per year for the last 3 years, and every one of them is running perfectly. So I can help you with automating and systems and management and things like that. So does anybody have initial questions about why we're here or anything that's really been burning that they want a couple answers to? Okay, does anybody here use Facebook at all? No, seriously, I really want to know, because this will give you an idea how powerful this is. Who has a Facebook account? Okay, all the hands up. Leave your hands up. Okay, how many have been on it today? Look around. And you guys are at an event.
Who are on it right now?
Yeah, who's on it right now? Tag yourself to the picture I'm about to take of you.
Selfie that one right there.
Right here? She's on, I can tell. So my point is this. You guys are at an event, an all-day event, and you've still taken time to engage in your social following. Think about that. How many of your clients are doing the same thing? How many of your potential clients are doing the same thing? You know? How many people here are actually using Facebook for their business successfully, in their opinion? So? Okay. Give me a couple ideas. How have you driven traffic to your credit business through social media, through Facebook?
I do contests. So I put a picture of a testimonial, and I say whoever shares this picture will be entered in the contest to win a $100 gift card of wherever they want. And it'll happen to be like 20 shares, 50 shares, whatever. And then I just put them in a drawing, and then I might get maybe like 100 followers from that.
Okay. Is anybody else doing that? If not, write it down. Like, that's what this is about. It's a panel. This is a communication thing. We're here to talk and communicate and come up with the best ideas. So I don't know about your business, and you don't know about mine. So hopefully we can change that today and really come up with some awesome ideas. Let's start with some questions. Anybody have anything? Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn? Who needs to learn more about these different areas? Twitter, okay. What do you got? Facebook? What was the other one? Instagram. That's a good one. I like that.
What are you doing on Instagram? That's interesting.
I do a lot.
Do you?
I do better on Instagram.
So is Instagram a winner here? That's awesome.
Those that are using Instagram, are you using Pinterest?
Yes. Yep. Yes. Oh, no. Yes. What do you say? I thought you said big stitch.
Oh, no. No.
Yep. Good. All right, so it's going to be a long hour. We need some questions. Let's rock. What do you guys need to know? You want to learn how to drive leads, how to do Facebook ads? You want to set up Facebook ads right now live? We can do that too. But we got to have some interaction. Right? Okay. It's a little better. All right. Go ahead.
Okay, like the keywords in Facebook, like when you put up credit repair, when you do stuff, because a lot of times I see, because I'm focusing on, look at different people's site, I see that they're targeting me for different ads that are coming up on the right
Right.
side. How does that happen? What's the thought pattern? How does that happen?
Do you want to jump into a Facebook account?
Yeah, go ahead.
You want to log in?
Yeah, let's log in.
Is this live? Yeah. Are we online here?
While he's doing that, let me ask you a question. How many people think when you're talking to a new customer that they're believing everything you said and they're not looking you up after? How many people think what you say is gold and what you said is exactly what's going on? All right, good. We're not all in vain in this audience. That's important. We work with a lot of medical community, a lot of doctors, some of the most vain people you can find in society, if you will, a lot of times. No offense to doctors. Wife's a doctor. But one thing that we've learned through different tracking devices, call tracking, email responders, different means that we do through the social media, through press and other things, is that everything that we say these days, the cheap man's background check is done on the internet. So whatever you think you know and you think that they believe, they're checking you out. So consistency in social media, consistency in marketing is vital to your brand and what you're building, especially in credit repair these days. How many people know somebody that lost their house or went through just hell in the last 6 years with the economy? Right? We all know somebody. Maybe we've had our own issues, our trials and tribulations. That's one of the reasons that social media has really taken off. They're giving a lot of value to it because people are always looking for second opinions now. Consumer confidence is very low. So the educational-based marketing approach to social media is a really important platform. We're going to show you some examples today. Is anybody doing any kind of press at all, PR web? Has anybody used that? Okay. So back in the day, the best way to compare it, go back to the Yellow Pages, right? The new Yellow Pages are Google+. The new Yellow Pages are online. Everything that you want is at your phone, on your iPad. PR Web is a source, a press release source that gets a lot of credibility online. It's the new PSAs back in the day when you want a public service announcement. Everybody looks for that content and they rebroadcast that information onto their newspaper online, onto their blogs. Give you a for instance. We had a doctor that we're working with in New York City, and he put out some press on a new surgical technique that he uses. It was rebroadcasted all the way cross country in the San Francisco Chronicle, because all the staffers, bloggers, independent through big cities, small cities, they're always looking for new content. Content is king. That's no different when it comes to social media, and no different why you need to use these kind of marketing tactics and what we do in our clients, so that we're continually have the freshest content and we're continually the leading authority online through our different tactics, from Google to, go ahead. Well, there's a lot to the press release packages and how you do that. There's a lot of SEO background to it. I'm going to let the smart guy talk about that briefly, actually. Give her a little details on that.
Well, it all depends. There's probably 5 or 6 are the press release services that we use. Depending on the package that you get is exactly what you can do. There's low-level packages that just gets your information out there, all the way up to the high-end packages that include PDFs, videos, your website, contact information, email, all those things that you want. So it all depends on your budget and exactly what you're trying to do. Either way, what you should be concentrating on is getting the targeted keywords, creating good content, as Anthony said, and making sure that it's relevant and it connects with your reader. Because no matter what happens, you could have something brilliant, but if it's not connecting, if you're writing it like a scientist and you're geared for, your target market is artists, you're never going to have a connection.
Yeah, and to play off, they give you a real-time example, right? Use the doctor example. They're going online, get in the patient's head. The first thing we do with a client is we do a detailed research needs analysis, whoever we work with, because we need to get into your potential customer's head or patient for a doctor. So we ask them, what's your patient population? In your case, what's your client population? Where are they coming from? What are their backgrounds? What are their demographics? What have they been through? What are the emotional state of mind when you talk to them and what they needed? Were they telling you? That's the way you're going to go into your market, whether it's press, YouTube channels, or social media. The content's driven based on the information that the consumer's providing. A diabetic, I'll give you an idea. A diabetic patient is searching on the internet, right? Putting in diabetes and ways to treat it, new advanced technologies. You drive them into a doctor's page that has a treatment option for gum disease. So now all of a sudden they're getting a high anxiety patient that was well looking for more education that they would have never got otherwise. I haven't been to the dentist in years. Now you got an $8,000 case. If I'm hurting right now and I just went through my 4th divorce in 4 years, well, hopefully that didn't happen. But if you have that, hypothetically, people that are going through divorce, how do they think? What kind of anxiety state of mind are they in? That's the kind of keywords, the phrases, and that's the kind of content you want to write from a press or whatever you're trying to articulate in that message. Does that make sense?
Right, very keyword loaded.
The one formula that I use for a lot of my internet marketing that I learned way back in the day, very simple, TBK formula. T, target, B, benefits, K, keywords. So whenever you're doing something, whether it's writing or creating a pamphlet, creating a drawing, images, a video, think of your target, the benefits, and the keywords associated with your audience, and you'll have success.
There's a couple things you've done with YouTube as well. We're talking about keywords and targeting. Is anybody using YouTube and like doing informational videos and things like that? What kind of success are you having with that? I saw a couple hands over here.
Like 70% of my business is from video SEO.
70% of his business is video SEO. Who's not using video SEO? About half. I want to show you how I did something just as an example. Are you on? Hop on Google just for a quick second. This is hilarious, right? I do social media. I've done this for years and years. Just a simple Google, and if you're on, I challenge you to do it yourself. Go to Google and type in "Sell My House Tampa" on just Google and see what the number one thing is.
Are you using testimonials? Is that what you're doing?
But it's powerful. Social media and YouTube especially. Not bad to have the number one spot with a video of my ugly mug right there. I don't even sell houses. I did it to prove a point on how powerful social media can be. So what Pino can do, and what he's about to talk about, is video SEO and how we can start getting things ranked like this, not only on Prime Google, but also in YouTube, which Google owns, okay? But also in Google Places. And again, perception is reality, so the more of this credibility you can build, that's when you start converting at a higher percentage. You don't even need more leads if you're converting at 20% more. And you're already at 70%, that's epic, you know? And I get everybody else doing the same thing in their local market, it rocks. But you can probably give some feedback
Yeah,
there.
there's a couple things, especially with YouTube. Google, it hasn't been completely confirmed, but they're so good at their analytics that they're actually parsing what you're saying in your videos and using that for part of their formula for their keyword algorithms. So make sure that when you're speaking, you're enunciating, so Mr. Google, when he's listening to your video, actually knows where to target and your demographics are. Amy, I don't know if this is still up there, but can you type in Google used car automotive marketing? I did this a long time ago for a previous client of mine, and I had great success with it. If you see right there, that video, I think that's the first one below the ads. I'm not able to tell. But that video's been there. I had it ranked within 24 hours in the first position of Google, and it's been there since June 1st of 2012. So,
Coming up on 2 years, yeah.
Yeah, so it's all about getting the correct keywords, saying the right content in your descriptions, and following just a couple different formulas to make sure that it stays static.
Yeah, maybe get some examples too.
All of that information is in the closed caption section, so even if you don't talk clearly, you can go in there and edit what you're saying, and that is a big help as well.
That's a great point. The
There you
closed
go.
caption, what he was saying is editing in the closed caption in the video description was definitely going to help with SEO. It's absolutely right.
I see it says Craigslist. Is that LinkedIn to Craigslist as well? That's where you posted it?
No, actually, the product was a Craigslist software for used car automotive people, dealers, buy here, pay here type of stores, dealerships. So it kind of, I did a little bit of creativity, as SEO, as most people know, it's not just a science, it's also an art, and combined a couple different keywords and found out which ones had the least amount of competition so that I can get ranked quickly, keep it there, and have longevity.
SEO.
SEO.
We'll give no-cost consults after the meeting.
The first thing, if anyone ever asks or says to you that they will guarantee first page, Google, prime location, or first spot, run
Ruin their credit right away.
run away from them, because what they're doing is not only illegal, but it could definitely harm you. And especially if you're building a brand and they say they can do that and you get caught, you're part of whatever goes down. So you could lose all that hard work. I wasn't doing something like that, but I have seen clients, friends of mine that are SEOers who have sat there and watched years, hundreds of thousands of dollars of effort go to waste, and the only thing it does is sit in Google's black hole. So one of the key things I would ask is definitely, what's your experience? Do you do local or do you do national keywords? I would ask, what kind of SEO do they do? I don't want to get into too much detail, but there's like link wheels and link pyramids. There's content, social media. There's so many different angles that people use for SEO. So I don't want to draw this out too long, but if you have any questions about that, come see me afterwards, and we'll definitely.
I got a question. What do you use? I know what I use, but obviously you're better at it than I am. And again, that's one thing. Realize where your team's strengths are, and if you don't have that strength, bring somebody on that has that strength. Outsource, delegate, automate, replicate. That's how you're going to grow and scale. Okay. With Pinot especially, where would you find keywords? I use the free keyword tool on Google. You may have a better one than that. I'm just saying.
The best one that I use, two of them. One of them is the AdWords keyword tool. The second one is called SE Cockpit. I'll see if we can get the correct link somehow to these guys. There's two products out there, and one of them is spelled like in a Swedish type way, which there's like a big battle. It's not the right one, so I want to make sure you get the correct one, but it's called SE Cockpit. and it takes an aggregation of not only just Google, but Yahoo, Bing, all the search engines. It checks to see if, like Amazon, it checks press releases, and it sees where your keywords are. It's Cockpit, COCKPIT.
Cool.
I was just going to say that, I mean, the secret is constantly changing. We can all agree it costs a lot of money to buy stock in Google, and Facebook's continually on the rise. So, you know, you asked about how do you interview for that. If anybody says they have the secret to Google, then say, why are they sitting in your office right now? So it's always changing. You have to have somebody that's competitive, understands the advanced technologies, how to integrate them all as a system, and it goes back to that whole content driving. There's ways to get a lot of customers and fight the volume and fight the price shoppers, and there's ways where you can go after, we mentioned earlier, the emotional state of mind. Go after lower volume, higher converting type customers. It's all about getting in the mind of who you're trying to go after, and if you want to go after the masses or go after the lower volume, that tend to be better customers and clients we've seen to certain degrees.
Right.
Go ahead.
Pino's LinkedIn expert. I'm gonna let him handle that, and then I have a comment about what you said, Anthony. You're right on point with
How to
something there.
use LinkedIn effectively? That's the question.
Well, first question: are you in business credit or personal credit repair?
Well, right, I'm going to be in both, but right now I'm in real estate,
Okay.
and I just have friends, and we just say, hey,
Well,
Okay.
there's a couple different strategies. My team and I, we built over the last 4 years. We have a lot of groups. The idea is creating a community. You're all here because you're all in the same niche, the same community. You're all sharing ideas that might work in Tuscaloosa, that might work in Tallahassee. So it's all about, on LinkedIn, building a community, building a group. I own probably about 50 groups, 50 or 60 groups. We have groups anywhere from 10 people up to 100,000 people. I manage several other third-party groups. It's all about building community and learning how to use LinkedIn to your advantage. Now, there's a lot of different tricks with creating a group. Looking at keywords, looking, again, as I said, TBK, look at your target market, the benefits and the keywords. So what we do, what we've done is we actually have come up with a system to get the exact people that you need in your group. And because of the way, who here has an email list? Anyone? Who here would like to have an email list?
Everybody's hand should be raised on that one.
Who here would like
Email list,
to
print money.
Who here would like to have 100% deliverability to your leads?
That's
There you go. If I told you could do that with LinkedIn, would you be happy? Okay. So there's all these different tips, all these different tricks to make you the internet authority, the credibility expert to your target market using LinkedIn. Don't want to go too much into it because I can sit here. That's my exciting thing. Yeah.
So a good example of that I really like. I do a lot of things in the political realm too for a lot of clients now. And we built a LinkedIn group for all attorneys who are usually the ones that are going to raise money for judges. They want to control the judges, right, in an area. So we built about a 990 group for just lawyers in a certain marketplace. And it increased by a 10% margin within the first week of their fundraising ability. So that gives you an idea. Knowing who your target is, like Pino said, attacking that target, and then it goes back to content and messaging and interaction and driving to the emotion or driving to what they're trying to go after. Lawyers want to control judges. That's interesting messaging you have to work with, but that's a good example.
Well, as far as targeting goes, one of the things we talked a lot about, and it's one of the things that Amy and I and Pino and I and Anthony and I do a lot with creating Facebook ads and also creating groups, reverse engineering who your target audience is. Not a lot of people would think, hey, we need to go get attorneys if we're doing something for a judge. And I could even ask you guys, and I'd love some input too, because hopefully we're going to be talking after the fact, and we'll be able to give you some really pinpoint advice. Who is your target audience for credit repair? Obviously, business is going to be small business. Is that right for business credit? You're targeting small businesses that are new companies, 12 months or under. Is that right? Really, any business? Okay. What about personal? Who do you find your target audience is there, if you were to pigeonhole? Joint venture partners. We did something like that with discountloans.com. I always looked at that like two steps, because you're talking about, for the most part, and we'll definitely come back to, because the reverse engineering is actually a really creative way to get your target audience. But to answer what you were saying, I think one of the best things to do there would be, you have to create an online presence for yourself, because it is the poor man's due diligence, right? Facebook and Google is about the only two things they can do. And if you're trying to lock down, I mean, we did something with Yellowfin Realty and discountloans.com, and we did that by creating a bigger footprint online, and then we could reach out to those other people, because perception's reality, again. So if you're going to reach out to these strategic partners and these joint venture partners, such as mortgage brokers and other lenders and realtors, I'm sure are another good when people want to buy a house, can't buy a house, what's wrong, their credit sucks, okay, boom, handoff. Nothing better than a warm lead. Is someone they know, like, and trust, right? Well, the best way to open that door and to get your foot in the door is by creating additional visibility and credibility on other social media platforms, and then you can reach out. It's a whole different conversation and relationship when you're swinging a bigger bat. You know what I mean? And you can definitely build up the credibility through Facebook and other sources as well. And then obviously with LinkedIn.
It's pretty much like that. Nobody wants to. We can't get a bad credit group, and nobody's gonna be in it. So
Right. They're gonna make a fake
It'd be
profile and
pretty
then
cool
like
if
it with
you
that,
could,
yeah.
though. I would be impressed with
that
you.
was the other thing I'm about to say. Is that bad groups? Everybody's a superstar on Facebook, but we know that everybody's credit's not there. So the whole thing is we have to kind of like piggyback off of different industries to kind of get our leads. And so
Well, it's a combination. You got to get more credible, okay? Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, the more content is king. So obviously I know I saw some of the stuff that Mike was doing at Biz Blueprint, awesome. Sites like that are constantly replenishing with good information, that's epic. You got to have that. But that online credibility, then you can go out and say, hey, look at me. And then at least they'll pay attention, and then you have that door open. As far as finding, so again, it's a kind of a compilation of things. The other side is the reverse engineering. Like, someone's not gonna say I have terrible credit. I'm gonna like your page because I have terrible credit. If it were me, I would go after, and that's why I was asking, who is the target audience? If it is a white man between 35 and 50 who likes NASCAR, okay, go to NASCAR pages through Facebook and strategically, you see what I'm saying? I mean, get more creative with your targeting. And I'm going to let Amy walk through here in a minute when you guys want to do that as far as setting up a Facebook ad. We're going to knock a couple more questions out, but you can kind of see what we're doing. So your input's going to be crucial, and we can see what group we're talking to in a specific state. Because you guys can do if you're in a state, you can do anybody in the state. Is that right? Or is it anybody nationally you can do credit? National? Okay, that's game time.
I think that's what most of us want to see. How do you target? Okay, you get your video, you got this ready. Now, I think how I just saw her doing just a couple of clicks. How do you get your content out? Because nobody really I don't use Facebook and go through everything on it. I'm pretty much on it, and I'm looking at who's there, my friends, and we're interacting. But as far as business is concerned, a lot of times I haven't sat down with anybody as of yet to actually get my content and push it in marketing.
Well, first thing we all really need to realize is that everybody we're trying to talk to is on Facebook, or Twitter, or LinkedIn, or all three at the same time. So there's not a business and personal. You can keep them separate, but you got to do business there too. So, I mean, if you want, did you guys have anything you want to add in? Maybe she can run through a little bit of targeting.
Did anyone want a quick free LinkedIn tip? Yeah. Yes? All right, there's a thing in LinkedIn called the Boolean search. It's on the left side, or it's like the search query or the top. And using that, by learning what the Boolean things that you can use, how to target, you can put like if we're looking for, let's say, small business owners in Florida but not in Tampa, you would put, in quotes, small business Florida, and then a space, then a dash, a negative sign, Tampa. And what that would do is get anyone who has small business Florida in there that is not in the location of Tampa. So learn how to use the Boolean search, get comfortable with that. it's very exciting because you can drill down and find those people and make that one-on-one connection. That took me probably a year to learn exactly how to master that. So that's some free, pretty good advice there.
While we walk through this, let's ask the gentleman a question, second row.
Oh yeah, well, what I was going to say is I've used my LinkedIn mainly to build my affiliate network. So I have a couple thousand people on that LinkedIn. It's constantly coming up all day. More and more people are asking to join, and I get phone calls from mortgage folks that they find me on LinkedIn. I found Facebook. I've used the Facebook page. That's up to about 3,000 likes right now, and that's more. And I don't know if I'm doing this right or not. Maybe I could use this for affiliates, but for me, that's been more to drive people to my website. What I've noticed with Facebook, and maybe that's what she's about to get to, is there's this new thing with the ads. You could promote posts, and now I'm testing right now this new thing with the ads, which I guess goes right into people's timelines. And so I'm a little curious to hear your thoughts on that. And the only other comment I was going to make is I have both of those sites go into my Twitter, which has about another 1,000 people whenever I post to LinkedIn or to Facebook.
So you're starting to work the system well, working into the system.
And you're talking about the RSS feed into Twitter, so whatever you post there automatically pops up on your Twitter?
Yep, whatever I post on Facebook is going to go to Twitter. Whatever I post on LinkedIn, with that option, goes to my Twitter.
Cool.
That thing's really been building. But I'm really curious about this new, and I'm testing it right now, the new Facebook advertising that I guess goes right on the feed. I'm getting a handful of likes on that a week, and I was curious of your thoughts, and I guess that's what you're going to do as far as, do you continue to, you have a good post, promote that, or are you more of a fan of this new thing of the in timeline?
Well, there's a bunch of different ways to go about it. Number one, I think one thing that you guys all need to keep in mind is that the service that you're providing and the crowd that you're targeting is actually very massive. Pretty much anyone that you're going to meet, for the most part, is in need of some type of financing help, credit advice, whether it be for themselves, their business, their family, their relatives far off. You have a big audience. So I think that's one really good thing to think about. With ads, the way that they work, and they are changing constantly. So I think one of the things that our team has found often is that a lot of people will start dabbling and then realize that they might be in over their heads, and maybe you're not. It depends on how much time you can manage it. But things do change, and the boosting abilities and the newsfeed ad, and what our company does and what we do with our clients is we do something called split test ads. So we see which pictures are performing the best, which messaging are people clicking on, and are those clicks turning out to be something worthy for us. If we pay for all these clicks and then they're not liking the page, then we kind of turn those types of things off and do a lot of tweaks in there. But I'll walk you through it in a second. I want you to look up at the screen for just a minute. And what you can see here, now some of the clients that I'm dealing with have a much smaller audience. So this, for instance, is a plastic surgeon. So a little bit different. We're talking about breast implants here. How many people like breast? Okay, I won't ask that. What we've got going on here is you might have a form on your website. Maybe you're having an event or a free credit gathering, a little, maybe not a cocktail hour, but a breakfast luncheon or something that people could come to. On your website, if you have a form or a page about that, what you may want to do is to get that news out in Facebook. Obviously, does anyone run newspaper ads in here anymore? Newspapers, magazines, none of us have a lot of money for that anymore. So for the most part, advertising dollars can go very far on Facebook. So here you see this surgeon's having a special on a procedure that he does, and so I created a page on his site. It has pictures and imaging and the special pricing and all that. But here we were able to get 238 people in this short amount of time. See, we ran this for a little bit over a month. $88 spend, average cost per click, 37 cents. So how many of you would like to get 88 people to click on your website for 37 cents and read what you have going on and read about your special offer? It's a, turn it 30, I'm sorry. I must have, yeah. So the reach you can see, 10,544 people potentially. They saw it 2.53 times. These are some of the things that you often will want to have someone checking over it for you if you don't have a lot of time, because you want to pay attention to numbers like frequency and making sure it doesn't get over a certain number. There's a thing called banner blindness, when you've seen something so many times and it doesn't mean anything anymore because you've kind of seen it too much. So we tweak all those things. But what's interesting about this, if I scroll down, I might be able to show you.
And for a frequency, we try to get anything under 3 is what we try to keep our ads under, frequency under 3. If you're working with ads, that's going to be relevant. one client was claiming he was rocking and rolling. He was spending like $100 a day. We looked at his frequency, and it was like 100. That means the same person seeing the same ad 100 times, which you could imagine. Imagine that friend that just keeps knocking on the door, right? Like eventually you just don't want to go to the door anymore. And that's kind of what happens with Facebook.
So you can see here, and I can walk through starting another ad so you can see there's also quite a few things to show credit card spenders, those with a certain net worth or household income. There's all of that on the back end of Facebook now. But here you can see we're able to, in his area, you can target the area, how many miles outside of there. The gender here, I'm targeting people, women, that have liked pages relating to the matter that he's in. So as Kris was talking about reverse engineering, let's just pretend that a NASCAR guy of this age is who you continue to see. Maybe it's someone who has some other interest, but as you start to see these unique characteristics, we can target people that like those types of subject matters or pages on Facebook. And then you're actually, because you can spend money on Facebook all day long, and believe me, they will definitely spend your money, but what you want to make sure is that the money that you're spending is reaching the audience that you want, and that audience is actually doing something about it. So that's, here I'm looking at people that have mobile devices, that are online spenders, that are active online spenders, so they're buying things online, and it kind of is scary sometimes. You might think, well, gosh, it's crazy that Facebook could know this much about me, but obviously we all realize that when you're in your news feed, you'll see things and I know Phil was going to talk a little bit about this, about retargeting, but you have looked something up, and all of a sudden the ad that you continue to see over and over and over is that pair of shoes from Zazzle or whatever, that you're like, okay, maybe I need to buy the shoes, they're targeting me. But we can walk through.
Yeah, let's walk through and let's start throwing out some ideas. I mean, who's your target audience? Let's say, do we know who I in marketing? And again, I'm a little outside the box. I call it my Homer. Who's my Homer? Homer Simpson, right? That's my target in everything I do. I need to figure out who my Homer is. So if you guys were to throw out a couple examples on who your Homer is, what would that be?
Future homeowners.
Homeowners? Okay, future homeowners. Who else? 30 to 50. All right, so we got an age range. Is there a demographic? Is there a geographic location primarily that works better for you?
Atlanta Metro.
Where?
Atlanta Metro.
Atlanta Metro, who are interested in probably like Lennar Homes or something like that. Buying cars, used cars maybe. Okay. I would even go back one where it says create the ad. What about people who are looking at, because I used to be in real estate. I had a company called Mr. 3 Days. I would flip a lot of houses all over the country. And one of the things I targeted was Crate and Barrel, things like that. People who are shopping for a new house. IKEA, right? Something similar. Like, you see what I'm saying about the reverse engineer? If you can find a place where these people are and you can interact with them and your competition isn't thinking about it, that's just one step closer, because you're going to be getting likes and interaction that much cheaper. So Amy's going to walk through, and we can, like you said, the Atlanta Metro, we can probably start there. Has anybody ever not set up a Facebook ad but wants to? A few people? So okay, if we're about to walk through a Facebook ad, what do you think, what are some of the things you want us to stop and focus on a little bit more? Because this is really important. With this one thing, you could drive 2-3 times more traffic. Well, with Facebook ads specifically, we have a merchandising company called Chasing Trends as well. We launch a fan page, put one fan on it, and then we run strictly Facebook ads through the news feed to a direct push, click to buy. So as long as you had a page, the interaction is a whole other thing. Once you're up and going and you're getting interaction using gamification, like the gentleman mentioned earlier, contests, giveaways, even stupid things. Do you like A or B? Which do you like better? Yes or no? Would you do this? Yes or no? Are you interested in looking, or would you put this in your new house? Yes or no? The silly things like that, what it really is doing is actually messing with Facebook's algorithm, so that when you do a call to action and you specifically request, they'll start seeing it in their newsfeed. You'll probably see a friend you haven't seen in forever, you ended up on their page, and now they're always popping up in your newsfeed. Well, that's why. It's Facebook's algorithm remembering where you most recently were or interacted with. So with Facebook ads, you can actually target your people and without even worrying about interaction on your page.
Hey, Kris, speaking of Facebook ads, staying on top of technology, the importance, Facebook just made some drastic changes everybody may or may not know about.
Yeah, back on the 9th, they made a lot of changes as far as they're reducing, when you're talking about the interaction from fan pages, they're actually reducing it, 1% to 2% now, organic reach. So if I have a fan page with 1 million fans on it, one of my pages, I'm doing posts now that are only seeing 1,000, 2,000 likes on the whole thing, which is incredible when I have that many people. But what's happening is there is so much going on with the Facebook ads and advertising that there's no room in the news feed left anymore. So this is becoming more and more pertinent to the success of your business driving new leads.
Facebook's kind of making it pay to play. So you can all day post, and if you notice when you're in as an admin, you might see 12 people saw something, and it's kind of like, that can make it very difficult. So a lot of times what we'll do is make sure that, it may not be a substantial amount of money, but definitely putting money in on the back end to make sure that your posts are seen by your audience is definitely a good idea. Go
Okay,
ahead.
we'll grab one question, and then I'm going to have her run through the ads. Go ahead.
Right, 'cause my question is this, obviously I've had success, like I was saying, going through Facebook, but there's different ways to do this. There's promote your page, right?
There's different objectives, yes.
Promote your post, and now there's the ads. In timeline, where are you seeing the bigger bang for the buck?
I do not like the promoted post. I think it's too much. They cost too much money, right? And it's not as targeted as lead, because it said you can target the fans of your page and their friends. Okay, now something I would suggest is if you can find your homer, right? People tend to hang out with 12% of themselves mentally, physically, financially, emotionally, spiritually, okay? So in a way, it's kind of a warm lead. If I'm broke and I have problems, my buddy's probably broke and has problems too, because we sit around and bitch about it together, okay? So that is a warm lead, but in my opinion, it's too much money. Where the Facebook likes, well, why the hell are you going to go get a bunch of likes now if you're only going to get a 2% organic growth? What does that leave? It leaves Facebook ads. The ones in the corner are so small, people click it because you had a good picture. What if they're really not interested now? So the news feed ad is where we've had most of our success. We run orange and robin egg blue color. Like a basketball orange and robin egg blue. We actually put a border around. Do you know the dimensions of that offhand? Maybe not. We'll probably see. Actually, she'll see it in a second. Yeah, you can, but don't do that. Make 6 different ads, because what he's talking about is in Facebook. When I'll let you start, and I'll mention it back when she gets to that point. But there's a trick to that. Facebook just can't wait to blow through your money. And if it's after actually 8 o'clock, 7 or 8 o'clock, don't even start it till the next day, because they'll blow through your budget that day, just to waste your money. We're doing like $5,000 a day in Facebook ads, so trust me, we had to really fine tune it.
So here we'll do a click to website ad, and we're going to put. Anyone with a website we can run some ads to? DisputeSuite.com.
Yeah, do it. Dispute Suite. There you go.
I'm not going to pay for
5,000
it,
a
though.
day. If you want it, we'll do it. So obviously, in the top right-hand side of the previous page, just create an ad. Obviously, you have to go in there, whether it's a debit card, credit card, bank account, something connected with that. And once you have that, I've heard some real horror stories, so be cautious getting anybody else access to that account once your card's connected to that, because that is your responsibility, hacked or not. And it's a real nightmare. Facebook doesn't have a service team that you can contact. So once you get connected with that, either work with credible people or don't share your password. Just a word of advice.
I don't know what's going on. It's not.
Is it running slow?
It's running slow.
All right. Well.
Everybody has to do a consult with us. I don't think it's going to happen today.
Well, while she's working on that, I'll answer that question. In the next page, it offers to give you different types of pictures and images that you can use. They'll let you upload 6, and it says, we'll run 6 different ads, and we'll tell you which one's working better. It's a crock. Whichever one gets the first click, they just disregard the rest and dump all your money onto that one. So if I were you, I would create 5 different or 6 different campaigns with $2 and $3. I mean, you don't have to talk. It's not a lot of money. I mean, you can do $3, $5, $10 a day to drive traffic. And just like what we do with some of our campaigns, we sell a lot of merchandise and t-shirts. So once we see something bringing us an ROI of 25% or higher, we scale it. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 a day if we know we're getting a 25% ROI. You guys, what's that?
You're in the laboratory.
Yeah, I'm that guy. I'm the Teespring guy.
I know. That's how I recognize you.
Yeah, that's me in real life. I'm all over the place. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to the exact same thing we're talking about, right? Making money, driving traffic, converting deals. So you know I know what I'm talking about. You've seen some of the stuff we do.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
So to talk about the boosting and how, as Kris was saying, it can be a rather expensive way and maybe not quite as targeted. But on the back end, what you can do, instead of a page-like ad, you can also do a page post-engagement, meaning I want to make sure that of my 2,000 people that have liked my page, it seems that only 30 continue to see my stuff, so I'm going to pay to play and pay for me to stay in the news feed. So that's what we're doing right here. This is a post that was done yesterday. And if you see on here, I'm going to go down to the targeting. We're going to target your audience instead. So let's say, let's just pretend our audience lives in Delray Beach. But we'll do age here. Let's say, 30? We'll do 35 because it's closer. Okay, are you primarily, women are often the decision makers and the buyers in credit repair. Is it the same? Are you usually targeting women over men as the family decision? No? Both? Okay, so we'll keep it as both.
Sore
Remember,
subject.
too, with Facebook ads, you do want to define your audience, but the narrower that you get, the more expensive that your ads become. So, do think outside of your parameters where you want to be. So here, let's go into demographics. Now, one of the clients that we're working with right now is actually looking for people that can buy $4,000 pieces of art for their wall. So I'm looking for people that have a lot of money when we run his ads.
try the Atlanta Metro, because I'm curious. I mean, it's a real live example. Let's try the Atlanta Metro,
Okay.
and that way you guys can throw out some of the specifics, because knowing you may be surprised. I didn't know that there were 750,000 people that are into line dancing, but there were. So now we have a whole target that we're running for a different business that we have. That ironically, that was our target homer.
Okay, so Facebook is going to default to 25 miles plus whatever city you put in. So if you needed to narrow it in, you can. You see right here on the right, the potential reach in Atlanta, 25 miles included in Atlanta, there's a potential reach of 1,160,000 people that are on Facebook. So you can see that your reach there is very huge. Now, when we start to put in other qualifiers, we'll continue to see that audience narrow down to get to the audience that we want. But again, like I said a little before, we will narrow on your audience, but because you have something that so many people need, you're able to leave it a little bit more broad. Going to the demographics, Kris, is that?
Yeah, you can. I mean, Facebook, it's actually really scary. It is what it is. We either adapt or die. You're moving forward or you're moving backwards. And this is forward. This is where it's going to be. It's got so much information in it. You can pinpoint within a 5-mile radius people who like 3 different country music artists and are fans. It's insane. It really is insane. Just depending on how fine-tuned can you get to figuring out who your homer is, too. And that's where a lot of the split testing and different things. Unfortunately, it does take a little bit of time, but it may be worth your time to go and do that if you don't have the resources to outsource.
Did someone say you were looking for someone who just moved into a home? Is that what you said? Or
Yeah, that was in the back here. New homeowners.
Looking
What would
for-
be a good way to target a new homeowner? Someone interested.
So we'll go on home.
Zillow. That's a good one. Zillow. Yeah,
So
that's
you can choose renters, you can choose homeowners. Now that number that was,
or renters. I mean, renters would be a pretty target audience, right? Yeah, go with renters.
People that like mortgage companies.
All right, now obviously 67,000. That's pretty steep.
so if you see now our number over to the right, we
Versus
were
7
at
million.
1,160,000. Now we're at 680,000. So we've narrowed our audience down a little bit. Down here in some of the interest, this is where you could type in if you were, had someone that was interested in NASCAR. For the breast augmentation ad, I did plastic surgery or Victoria's Secret, someone who's liked or shown interest in those pages. But here you can put that in.
And I don't know if anybody's ever used SurveyMonkey or really talks to anybody that they're, what's that?
That's up here.
That's where you would put in the home ownership right there, the special interest,
The
or car, something like that.
Yeah, well, here I'm in interest. That up there was, I think it's demographics. So it'd be someone who just married, just moved, honeymoon, that type of thing. There's, those are kind of like life events and other demographics.
Was
Then-
Zillow in there?
Let's see.
everybody knows Zillow is like a home search site, like Trulia and things like that. You can do Zillow, Trulia,
Yeah,
other
so on
things.
Facebook, there are 3,218,449 people that have expressed interest in Zillow.
So take
So we
out
can put this-
NASCAR,
Okay.
leave Zillow, and that puts us at
17,000.
17,600 people in the Atlanta plus 25 mile who are fans of Zillow. Might be a great place to start.
And you see then that Facebook also made it easy for you. And as we typed in Zillow, the other companies that are similar came up.
Yeah, you can do it. You do Trulia and Zip Realty and things like that too. And what I was saying about whether it be SurveyMonkey or another survey site, or just talk with some of your clients. If you've worked with a couple group of people that you have a really good relationship with now, maybe it's worth talking to them, asking them, say, hey, what kind of stuff do you like? And really just try to find out more about that person, because again, most cases, their immediate circle and sphere of influence are going to be some of the same people in the same situation. And referrals, I ran 3 of my companies that went national off no marketing dollars. It was straight referral because I did that, because I talked to people and I really tried targeting in on who they were and what their interests were. You know, instead of being just single layer, you know, targeting people who like credit repair. That's not going to work. You got to get behind the scenes a little bit.
So we'll finish. I know we're getting close to our time. I just want to show you guys in here the behaviors. This is also where you might want to look for people who, there's financial categories in here. So those that are likely to invest or not, those that have certain spending methods. There's a purchase behavior. So you can see in here those that buy certain types of products or use certain types of cards for stores. And again, all that's going to narrow your audience a little bit to get you to the exact demographic that you want. So let's say someone who has home insurance that's expiring. So see all the different qualifications that are coming up. And again, now this is going to knock our audience down quite a bit, but let's see.
That's a pretty target audience.
Right, right. So then, and then in this case, you're going to pay a lot for this ad. You have a very, very small audience. So you're saying to Facebook, okay, when these people log in, I want my ad to show. You're going to pay a little bit more for such a small audience. So those are the kind of.
You pay more, but you bid less. So
Right.
something like that, so you don't get the banner blindness, you're only talking $5, $6, $7 a day. Because there's very few people that are going to be logging on, otherwise you're going to see it over and over and over again. So we're not talking about a ton of cash if you laser target it like that. Now it's going to be a little bit harder to grow, but depending on what your ROI is, I mean, I don't know what a client's worth to you guys. You know, but that's just a math problem at that point. If we can break everything we're dealing with and doing back into a math problem, scale, you know. Get an ROI, scale. Yeah.
Any more questions about finishing an ad out?
You can do a get offer. You can run offers. Primarily, the only success I've seen with an offer post is on a fan page that we had, where we put up a merchandise, where we put up a wristband, a koozie, a hat, I don't know, right? And people claim the offer to get it. The only real benefit from that is Facebook then messages them on the day that it's expiring. I personally don't think that would be the best angle for this.
So what I'm hearing from you is this is the way to spend your Facebook dollars.
Absolutely.
Not the
Absolutely.
post, not the
That.
not the
Laser focused, find an ROI, and scale. Okay, and now that's your Facebook dollar. Now the time spent to build your brand and your visibility, credibility, virility. You know, you can go viral. You can run. You know, you can do the weekly giveaways like what he was talking about. You know, I was giving away a truck every Friday for a Ford dealership I was working with. They're getting him in on trade-in. It was nothing. So everybody just couldn't wait to see what's going on the page. We're announcing the winner at 7 o'clock on Friday. Well, guess what happens at 6? When everybody's on there like this, right? Put whatever my pitch is, whatever my call to action is. So if you can, you know, that's the other side of it. The virility, the gamification, the mechanics, the, you know, tapping into your homer.
Okay, this
Anybody
gentleman had a question back here. Okay.
Always be testing, in my opinion. Send it to, like what we're doing with Pain Week right now. It's one of the biggest publications for pain doctors in the world, you know, and they're like, oh, this works. I'm like, what if it doesn't? But it does. Like, how do you know? You know, not what they expected But, you know, now we have a really ugly squeeze page. We have a really elaborate sales letter. We got a video sales letter, and we got this thing that they used to have. Test it. If you're not constantly trying to tweak your systems, assuming that you have everything covered, bad move. Because your competition is usually working better, smarter, more efficiently, more creatively, so far outside the box. So I'd say test it. Send it to a squeeze page. Send it to, you know, a scarcity, urgency, value. The SUV of sales is something I use a lot. If you can, hey, look, I got 3 calls. I got 3 slots open this Friday to take a call. You know, I'm a credit counselor. It's free. On Fridays, I do free calls. I have 3 spots, 7, 7:15, and 8:25. Which works for you? You know, even it's worth a try. Land it on a page. You got people setting up appointments right from there. I don't know. You know, that's again, it's just part of the process. But once you figure it out, now it's a math problem, and then you scale. In my opinion, are you guys got any input on that? Because that's pretty good.
No, he hit it.
That's a good question. So, ready to rock? 5 minutes. Okay, we got like 5 minutes left. We're gonna hang out for a bit. I told Mike we're gonna hang out. Answer questions, talk. If you want to run through stuff, you want to open up your account, you just let me know. We're going to be here for a bit. Yes?
So would you say that the best place to send a lead to once you're running an ad is a squeeze page or a landing page? Would you say that's the best place to send?
You do more testing than I do. What, in your opinion, with this business, from what you know of it, what do you think?
I think the best thing to do for you guys, your business. Now, mind you, I'm looking outside 10,000-foot view. So again, test it as Kris said, is I would create something compelling, get them to a squeeze page, and on the squeeze page, make sure you have your Google Analytics set up, make sure you have retargeting set up, and make sure if you have any other tracking things such as clicktail.com. That's a great thing. What that does is it actually can track how far someone goes down on your web page, how long they're there, where they click their mouse on your page. So make sure your squeeze page has one call to action on it. Don't add a link back to your website or back to an affiliate product or something that you have. Make sure it has one call to action and track it and test it. And if you can, split test your squeeze page. And make sure that your squeeze page is built out correctly with things like a video sales letter, the long-form sales copy. Because the key is you want to make sure with the video sales letter, you're getting the people that are visual. With the video sales letter, you're getting the people that are auditory, that like to listen. And then with the long-form sales copy, which could actually just be the video written out, you're getting the people that are analytical and like to read things. So make sure you have a good combination of all of those different forms of connecting with someone and test it.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, educational marketing. People do business. I mean, you guys know this, right? People do business with people they what? Trust. Know, like, trust. Be that. If you're not that, like, all these leads are going to, be useless anyway. You're going to get them, but you can't convert them. What good is that? So if you focus more on your credibility, your visibility, your ability to share, to inform. What if you drove them to that sales page instead of a squeeze page? Send them to that, and all it is, say, listen, I don't want anything from you. I know you're going through a tough time right now. I went through it myself. I wanted to give you 10 things that you can probably do that are going to help you over the next 3 months get that house you wanted. And we knew that we targeted people who are interested in a house, whatever our reverse engineer targeting was. And then they're like, damn, that guy's awesome. Or that lady was awesome. Thank goodness for all this information. You know what? The same thing as us giving you all this information. It's going to be really hard to go do. You're probably going to call us and say, hey, look, I really don't got time for this. They're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to give them all this information. Now they know, like, and trust you. Who do you think the first person they're going to go back and see? They're going to go back and see you. So I would try split testing that as well. Yeah.
I know you answered this. I want to clarify this. So it gives you the option with the 6 different. You're saying don't do 6 different.
Do one.
Just
Do
do one.
one, and then make 6 different ads if you have 6 different images. I would do 2 at a time. See which one get the highest CTR, click-through rate. That's the picture that works. And then you take that same picture and you run 2 ads and you try 2 different types of copy in it. I mean, you're only talking a sentence. See which one of those converts better. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Super simple 2-way testing. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yep.
Yeah, I have a real quick question on online reputation management.
Okay.
We all get like the occasional pissed off customer that'll go out to Google
Oh yeah.
and write a bad review on you. How do you combat that? Is there a way to do it? Because I've heard
friends and families to write a good review is illegal. I don't know if that's true or not, but how do you fix that?
We're going to have a whole bunch of different answers for that one. I'll tell you what I do. I have more people saying good things about me than bad things. It sounds silly and simple, but that's just how I do business.
One thing to be very careful of is the fake reviews, because the FCC has been coming down on fake reviews and coming after people and really doing bad things. So stay away from fake reviews. That's the best thing that I could say from that perspective.
Some people at a time you could maybe have everybody that's in your office before you leave. Would you fill something out? But you're from the same IP address. That's going to get flagged, so you don't want to do that kind of thing. But definitely ask if you're doing email marketing, if you're emailing your people, maybe on Facebook, letting them know, hey, word of mouth is what keeps our business going. Don't forget the social media tie-in. Word of mouth and social media go hand in hand. But ask people. You could do monthly surveys for Starbucks coffee. I know we're getting kicked off the stage. So a couple things just to always remember. Be social on social media. Be social. Have fun with your audience. And I know you've heard that, but remember, they're normal people just like you watching the NBA game or the baseball playoffs or whatever's going on. So be very social there. And then don't forget to ask people to join you there. So in your printed materials, when they come in to visit you, anything that you have hanging up, have people, they might not want to check in, but make sure that they're connecting to you there and that you're reaching out to them that way.
Well, there was a good point, too, and I love gamification and game mechanics for interaction. Make that part of a competition. Say, hey, look, I'm seeing, we're getting some great reviews. If you've had a great experience with us, leave a review. We're going to give one person a $500 gift card to Crate & Barrel for the new house that now they have credit to get. Is it worth $500 for you to pick up 25 reviews? They're going to be good because they're trying to get you to win. Just think outside the box. I had at one point, I think I had 6,500 check-ins to my business. I didn't even have an office. I had to use an address because I would live in the cloud with the social media. But I had 6,500 check-ins. I mean, it's pretty incredible to some of the things you can do if you interact with the people properly. So maybe try a contest to get a lot of good reviews and ratings and testimonials. So, anybody got anything else? 'Cause I think it's about that time, and we're going to hang out. So if you got any questions, let us know for sure. Thank you.